whatever the outcome, you can always pivot. You can always adjust. You can always look at a result and say to yourself, that's not really the result that I wanted. How did that come about? What did I do that brought about that result? And now I'm empowered to say, what can I do differently next time? Hey, it's Rob here, and today I want to talk about some of the reasons that we stay stuck and how to break through, and how I learned to break through from those barriers and move into the success that we seek. And so one of the main reasons that we stay stuck, at least one of the main reasons that I stayed stuck for a long, long time, and I know a lot of other people do from working with them, is our emotions. Our emotions keep us stuck, and especially as a man, personally, I was never very good with dealing with my emotions, as they say, or feeling my emotions, sharing my emotions, getting in touch with those. And I found out how important that is. And it's really difficult when you feel trapped, as opposed to once you're able to liberate yourself and get in touch with those things. And I know that traditionally, and I'm speaking of old traditions, I know, and the world is a constantly evolving and constantly changing place. And thankfully, I think this trend is changing more nowadays, but it used to be that men were never encouraged to discuss their feelings, or we were kind of supposed to pretend like they didn't exist. And you suppress your emotions like that and keep them locked away, and it's harmful. It's harmful to your health. It's harmful to your productivity. It's harmful to your ability to live the life that you want to live. Being emotional is not a bad thing or a negative thing, and being in touch with your emotions is certainly not something that should be frowned upon. It's something that should be celebrated, and it's a power move to embrace your emotions and really understand them and get to a better understanding of who you are and how those things affect you, because they do. One of the key questions that I learned to ask, and this is pretty recently that I learned this, is how are my emotions affecting my performance? And by extension, or rather it's the other way around, I should say, how are my emotions affecting my thoughts? And by extension, my performance, right? Because the actions that we take come from our thoughts. Our thoughts come from our feelings. And it took me a long time to understand that whole circle and how that all works. But our feelings kind of determine our thoughts in a lot of ways. And our thoughts definitely determine our actions. And so at the root of it all are your feelings. And the root of it is your emotional state. And so this idea that we can push that away and suppress it and not quote unquote deal with our emotions, again, it's a very harmful way to live, and it's kind of a form of self-harm as opposed to self-love. And self-love was really one of the big keys that unlocked my own ability to perform at my best. And so this idea of suppressing emotions, this is something that I got away from because I knew that that was one of the reasons I was being stuck and feeling stuck all the time. And so getting in touch with feelings, that's an important thing to do. Now, here's the most important part of it though, is in order to move beyond that, you need to feel the feelings and then process them and understand how you can use them, okay? What do I mean by that? Well, this was a big turning point for me. And again, this goes back to asking the question of how are my emotions affecting my thoughts? And so once you start to ask that question, and once you start to think about that and start to delve into that whole thing, you realize that your emotions can be used as strategic information, all right? You can feel the feel. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel feelings, but once you've felt those feelings and once you've had enough time to process and kind of devote time to understanding them, then you can use those and you can more or less weaponize your feelings against staying stuck and against being in a position where you don't feel like you're gaining any ground and you feel like you don't have anything going for you, don't have any momentum going, right? That place of darkness that I've talked about. and moving into your purpose and moving into a meaningful life. This is something that you can use your emotions to do if you understand how to use your emotions as strategic information. Okay? And so the biggest key to all this is that action is what unlocks power for us, right? Action is the thing that moves the needle. Action is the thing that we've got to devote ourselves to. And a lot of times we don't act because we are afraid, right? And what is fear? It's an emotion. And specifically, it is the overall cover of other emotions that we don't want to feel, right? Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success in some cases. But these fears, these things that we fear, these are all, fear is the overarching emotion, but these are emotions that we don't want to feel. These are feelings we don't want to feel. And so we stay away from action because we are nervous about how it might turn out, right? So one of the things that I learned that I now am a huge advocate of is taking action in spite of fear by just realizing that whatever the outcome, you can always pivot, you can always adjust, you can always look at a result and say to yourself, that's not really the result that I wanted. How did that come about? What did I do that brought about that result? And now I'm empowered to say, what can I do differently next time that'll get me closer to the result that I want? Or maybe even get me to the result that I want. And so that's the key, is taking that emotion of failure or frustration or whatever it might be, sadness that you didn't reach a certain goal, a certain milestone, disappointment. All these are emotions that you can turn into fuel and turn into, again, strategic information to use so that when you go about it the next time, you have a better grip on, first of all, knowing that whatever happens, you're going to be okay, right? And second, knowing that the key to winning in the long term is to bounce back and to come back stronger. And it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up, right? Every time you get knocked down, get back up, come back stronger, and take action in the direction of your goals, no matter what the outcome might be. Because those outcomes that we fear, the reason we fear them is we've attached some emotion to an outcome, and we think that that emotion is what's going to hit us when we have that outcome. If we can kind of, brainwash ourselves, for lack of a better term, into knowing that whatever happens, the emotion is a choice. It's a response that we are choosing after that result occurs. So we can choose a different response. And we can say, you know what, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't hit my goal here, but I'm going to come back now and I'm going to hit my goal next time because I've learned from this process. So taking the emotions that we have, and instead of burying them and worrying about what people might think, just use them as fuel and move forward, right? And that's the key. That's the key to success for anybody, for anything that you want to do, any endeavor, especially those big ones, those big mountains we want to climb. You just have to keep going. So this whole idea of getting unstuck and figuring out the specifics about why you may be stuck, this is something that I've created an entire intensive around, and I call it my Performance Accelerator 3-day Success Velocity Intensive. That is available on my website now. It's for free. You can come get it, download it. It's 3 days. It's an hour a day. And this is the kind of stuff I'm bringing to you, the most important transformational materials that I've picked up and that I've learned, the ones that really move the needle for me. I'm giving those to you in the form of a short mini course that you can do, like I say, in an hour a day. I invite you to come over and check out the website to get that. It's www.yoursoulsource.com. Again, the Performance Accelerator, it's 3 days that can absolutely change your life and move the needle for you like it did me. And I'm not just throwing things out there. These are real-world strategies that I've personally used. In fact, once I created the course, I put myself through it as though I were a participant. And so, yes, I have a little bit of a biased point of view of it when I do that, of course, because I'm the one who created it. But I did learn some new things, and I did pick up some new distinctions. And my hope is that you will be able to do the same. So again, go check that out. I will see you again in another video here on YouTube. This is kind of what I'm doing now, is just kind of trying to bring you a lot of performance enhancing material here, and kind of sharing the things that I've learned that have helped me reach a level of success that I hope can help you reach a level of success that you desire. So if you like what you see here, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss another video as they come about. You can hit that bell and get the notifications as well. I plan to do this pretty much every day, giving you some sort of actionable advice, some sort of tip that I've picked up throughout my life. And again, I encourage you to jump over to the website to check out Performance Accelerator if you want to get into this stuff in depth. Remember that success comes from action and that excellence is a decision. And one of the big things that I want is for us to win together. We chase success at Your Soul Source. So come chase success with us, and I will see you in the next video.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.